Hello.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for coming to join us again today. Uh, this might be an exploration of a few topics today. I don't have too many questions, but hopefully the flow of the conversation will just lead us deeper into certain topics. To start with today, I thought I would start with asking for any clearances or upgrades that Susan and I need. She's always asked me to make sure I ask for these, but it probably makes sense for it to happen at the start of the session just to allow us to be as clear as we possibly can through the session. So, can I ask you to scan Susan and I and do any energetic clearing or anything that's needing done that would allow us to keep the connection flowing with you today?
Yeah, absolutely. There is lots of a shifting landscape. The consciousness streams. They moving. Shifting through the different collective generational fields as you continue to work and receive, evolve. They just need a bit of clarifying, purifying, and to help as they enter the field. Then as they come in and through the electrical pulses of the body and cleansing through the brain waves and the auric field and the through the core energy channels and just harmonizing through everywhere. And grounding down. And they feel to be vibrations, noise, and just settling that noise and that vibration. So for clear thought, focus, clarity. And then we can bring in any bridging, any codes to stimulate the light and the unconditional love through the system to harmonize more efficiently and hold space to keep evolving. Yeah, this is good. Do you feel okay?
Yes, thank you so much. That was a very interesting experience sitting there. Susan and I just mentioned before we started. Again, I felt the vibrations in my face starting and then right away my feet. So almost as if right in the centre of my face is vibrations of energy there as you started the work. Felt it in my feet, and then my solar plexus was pulsing for a bit, and then eventually on my root I felt energy moving. It was lovely to feel that the movement of energy. And is that a clearing process that you were putting me through, or I was feeling in certain areas?
And yeah, with so much shift and movement, and you got that, yeah, there was just, yeah, like the channels needed to be smoothed out. That was, I got the a bit tumultuous, and got the yeah, so smooth and just for greater clarity and focus, and you got the back into even ground where you can be in the zero point of the potential.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask why I would need that clearing work done? Is there something that's happening in my daily life that allows, would it be debris or energy to build up that it's sort of unwanted? Where would this accumulate from?
Any other day, and then we were seeing the streams of consciousness, the as you are holding space with us each week, and the other you create a great ripple expansion and consolidation of a lot of energy that you've carried forward into this life. And so as this is releasing that murkiness in those streams of consciousness, is just it's like the structure the body has learned to survive on is breaking down so that it can be rebuilt into the divine remapping of your source field, your source blueprint. And the greater potential weaving in, but the other energy breaking up, and is like the debris that has been stagnant. And this is what we were just washing through to allow for greater continuity and flow and receiving of the frequency that you're channeling with us today.
Okay,
And ongoing every week.
thank you. Can you explain the streams of consciousness again for me? I know you've spoken about it in previous episodes, but can you explain what you mean by the streams of consciousness?
They like interconnected within different areas of the consciousness field. Like your conscious mind connecting to life. You could consider a stream of consciousness, and the subconscious connecting and weaving into the ocean of collective. And that is like another stream of consciousness you're connected to. And then with each of your ancestors and that wisdom that flows from your ancestors. So the energy being like the emotional and the bandwidth of the what has been around you, what you carry through the day, and your nakoto-chia, what you carry through the super and subconscious energy streams with others, and your nakoto-chia from your own evolution. Nakoto-chia, they weave through the dimensional parallel. They are timeless. And so we can see what we can see at this point that is impacting you and your kotonya and help to release, clear, and reset. So these streams are clear without the debris, without without like the rocks that make it more like a rapid. And we want clear, clean streams. And then from all areas, when you're receiving, this opens you to the wisdom of the soul much more fluently.
Okay, thank you for that excellent answer. That gives me a real understanding of what you mean now by the streams of consciousness and where my consciousness is going and has existed in previous times. So thank you for that. So was there anything specific that you did for Susan that would be good for her to hear? Was there any specific that she needed cleared in a certain area that was maybe needed more than another area?
Similar to yourself, those channels coming down the legs. This vessel's feet are vibrating quite considerably at the moment, and as they come down into those planetary field as we were recalibrating that energetic field and stabilizing and just clearing out from her energy everything and everywhere she's been today with others and helping just to the energy back into again the 0 point. So it is like a clear deep pond for us to connect with and through to channel without disruption.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there practices that a person could do to clear their own energy? Is there something, I'm sure there is practices, I'm just wondering if there's anything specific that you would recommend that if someone was feeling sort of low or had the weight of the world on their shoulders, would you recommend that type of clearing that they could do for themselves? Would it be visualization or breathing? Would it be something particular that someone could do?
Breathing is very powerful. And different types of breathing for how you're feeling in different ways. So to help stimulate the system, clear the system, relax the system, clear pain and headaches. When you learn to exist with breath, and you can move this through your field and then your whole field you can breathe and be the light in a more efficient and more proactive way. So you are not you're not reactive to energy and reacting constantly to a situation, but rather in a 0 point again, that still point of being in control and being in assertive action. Because you're connected to that higher thought and you are working through a clean space.
Okay. Right, I was just thinking of breathing techniques, but Susan has mentioned the breath of fire, and I think you did yourself a few weeks ago. Would that be one of the techniques that would be appropriate for clearing this stagnant energy?
Yeah, definitely good for clearing energy fields and for harmonizing your energy field. Alternative breathing for relaxation, deep box style breathing many different styles. So really finding a little bit of homework to recognize the different types of breathing and learning for yourself what feels right. So it's not just about doing what someone says, but what feels right for the individual.
Thank you. You're suggesting alternate nostril breathing there, which leads us on to a topic that we were planning to discuss today. Susan and I wanted to speak to you about Kundalini and investigate that as much as we could with your help. Last week we spoke that Susan has been feeling sort of energy up and down her spine, and mainly it's bringing on heat. And she said to me it's even reaching as high as her crown at times. And I've been investigating Kundalini a bit, reading a book recently. So, but last week you spoke about that heat in Susan's spine coming from the reintegration of the female and the male blueprints. Uh, so I was just looking for more clarity on those symptoms she's feeling. We understand that she's integrating these blueprints into herself, and you said that was causing it. But is this also causing a Kundalini effect? Is integration of the blueprints having a Kundalini effect on her?
There are many moving parts here. Part of this vessel's existence in this time. Has has been very suppressed of male energy from the vessel and from around in the environment. So as this divine blueprint activated under Kototicha, the masculine blueprint, and then that being welcomed back in, it's almost like it's overstimulating. So as things are calling back, it's recognizing the feminine and absorbing, but the masculine is it's like the vessel doesn't understand the frequency like it does with the feminine code. But this is this is very much a part of also this realignment and activation and she would not activate Kundalini full awakening without your core calling all this back in and being able to hold space in this way, so that learning process for the vessel to harmonize and flow in all ways. And this is why her energy, even though she is endeavoring to harmonize and balance herself, it's like it's like an area of energy that is foreign to her. So it's a learning process as well for her to understand that energy and how to work with it and how to find momentum with it in a positive way that is harmonious. But the body will settle, it's happening. As we said, there is nothing to worry about.
Okay. So is the body learning to adapt to this male blueprint that's came in? So is her symptoms starting to ease or will us?
Yeah, not so much at the moment at the Godinya, but the divine alignment of what you have suggested and the Kundalini and understanding the depth and breadth of these different energy pathways and to weave and flow and expand consciousness into will definitely assist for the process to be faster.
Okay. So just from reading the Kundalini book, I understand that the Ida and Pingala channels are very important to a Kundalini awakening. So has this blueprint overstimulated one of these channels, the masculine channel? Is that what's happened?
Yeah, it's like it's awake for the first time.
Okay, right. So would you suggest that there's any practices that Susan could do to balance out the female channel, or are you able to bring along a female blueprint to almost activate both at the same time?
And then the female blueprints are already activating and aligned. Coming back to the breathing could be a very important and beneficial step for the body to help it remain harmonized left and right, breathing left and right. Arigotonia, Nangadania, Patukania, Bakotania, Tatitia. Also, other exercises like physical exercises, which involves balancing on one leg versus the other leg and the other leg versus the other leg. So it's finding and rebalancing the body and practicing in different ways that can stimulate that side of the body versus that side of the body to allow it to come back into flow and momentum.
Okay. So the alternate nostril breathing, I understand that's very good for balancing both of those channels, the male and female. I've read that. So you've already suggested that. So I'm now interested in finding out about the system in Susan at the moment for the Kundalini awakening. So are you able to tell me if it would be possible for Susan to have a full Kundalini awakening in this lifetime?
I reckon, yeah, definitely.
It is right, okay. So it's part of our plan in this lifetime.
Yes.
Okay. At this moment, how far along the journey is she to awakening the Kundalini fully?
I got in, yeah, 80%.
80%. Okay, so she's gone a fair way along the path. So and you said yourself, I realise there's a lot of moving parts in the Kundalini system. So all the chakras need to be cleansed and open for the Kundalini to pass through. Can you tell me whether all our chakras are properly sort of working as they should to allow a Kundalini awakening?
I think then, yeah, they are all open and working and would be aligned. The root chakra could, I know what then, yeah, it's like the root chakra is still in our the codes that are constantly coming in, it's constantly rewriting the etheric blueprint. So this is constantly changing, which is creating a lot of flux and shift and movement as new codes are written into the story. Where the focus here needs to be for Susan is the masculine line, but then that coming into harmony and reconnecting through the nervous system and all the tiny points, everything communicating within that new field of welcoming this new part of self in, so it's no longer a stranger but accepted fully within all parts of self. This is quite a large part for for Susan's journey to embody and that will be really the next step for her to integrate and move that energy up and through all parts of where she is.
So just to touch on the other parts of a Kundalini awakening and how they relate to Susan. So we spoke about the psychic locks. That there's three psychic locks. The grantees, as they're known in the Kundalini tradition. I believe there's one at the root chakra, and I suggested to Susan that she must have unlocked that one if there's energy now flowing up. Would that be true that our root is now clear of the grantee and that's unlocked and it's allowed the energy to pass up?
There is no lock there.
Okay. The next two.
There is no lock here. There may be something here.
Okay. That would be the final grantee, the Rudra grantee, I believe, between her throat and her third eye. So I'm assuming that if she can balance the Ida and Pingala and get that flowing with the energy up her spine, if that can come together, it should unlock that third one. Can you scan her for that sort of detail?
Yes, we can place the key here so that as it's all coming together, it will unlock then without issue, without effort, as the time is ready for it to be received. This is good.
Okay. So the final part that I've read of a Kundalini awakening, if it's a proper full 100% Kundalini awakening, is the sort of the cracking of the cosmic egg, which I believe is somewhere in the head or the crown, and the Kundalini would pierce that eventually and allow the Amrita energy to then flow and activate a full Kundalini awakening for the rest of her life. Can you tell me whether Susan has the potential to achieve, to crack the cosmic egg? I believe some people can have a Kundalini awakening, a full one, without ever cracking the egg and not getting the full abilities unlocked.
We see there is potential for that to happen, yes.
Okay. Okay. From what I've read and what I'm understanding, as I'm reading the book and understanding the abilities that can come along, it reminds me of Susan and what she's asking for in our conversations, abilities to come online. And it's almost like, well, I was thinking if Susan can have that full Kundalini awakening, it would just open up so much for her and give her so many abilities that she's asking for but not quite achieving. Although she does have very many already, but she's asking for a lot more. So are these?
You're correct in your thinking, and that this will help to truly embody and bring the soul to feel whole at home.
Okay, that would be a wonderful place for her to be. Uh, from speaking to a few people that have had partial ones and enjoyed a lot of it, and from what the book tells me, a fully awakened Kundalini person, a person that has that, almost is sort of they become an enlightened being, and almost the life in the world that they live in is just a thing of beauty and change, and almost it makes me think it's like that they're permanently living in 5D or a higher dimension than the rest of us, and they just see the world with through those eyes. Would that be a a true description of?
That is correct. It is truly seeing from the higher perspective and holding a higher aligned consciousness in all that is and all that one does, and like like an ascended master would.
Yeah, yeah. I would. I was thinking along those lines of ascended master, yet not thinking that without being ascended. But we're still here. We're still here on Earth.
And
But with that
the
viewpoint,
attention is about the consciousness, not the body
ah,
breathing.
okay, not the physicality, of course. So that's fantastic news for Susan, uh, that this can be achieved in this lifetime. Uh, would the balancing of the Ida and Pingala, the male and female channels, be the main obstacle for her at the moment? Would that be the next step in balancing that?
I think yes, it is just becoming acquainted with that. And you got the masculine frequency and energy, and you got to feel safe with that. And the kotonia, as it's coming in, it's almost like the body is and a bit reactive still. And the kotonia, which is why we stayed still 2 to 3 weeks because we don't want to overwhelm as everything's coming back into flow and order, and then the kotonia needs to be safe because this is what gives the most optimal outcome.
Yes, I have read that Kundalini awakening should not be rushed, otherwise there could be an unsafe situation and people can be quite unhappy with the lows that a Kundalini awakening can bring, or a partial one can bring on that journey. Would that be right?
And yes, it's like anything. And you think you want it right now, but one truly doesn't know what they're asking for because you don't understanding the enormity of what it exactly means, and you got to feel it and feel that emotion and that vibration and energy. If you're not ready for it, is yeah, it's too overwhelming.
Okay. Just thinking about Susan when she reaches that stage and cracks the cosmic egg. I'm just wondering out loud, does that almost connect her to all her other existences? Would she have an understanding of everything she's been before? I know we have some of that and from our QHHT practices. I'm just wondering if it suddenly connects her to all of her that's ever been.
The only thing, yeah, it's like a source connection where you can tap into those vibrational wisdoms but it doesn't all have to exist at once. And that would be a lot. And but you can remain a a vessel of neutrality, and then when and as you feel the need to call in and understand something, I think, yeah, it's there.
Ah, right. Okay. So it's there at her fingertips once she's at that level, just to the information's there to be found when she needs it to be called on. Yeah. That I can see why that would be a very an exciting place to be, and for myself as a spiritual practitioner who's helping people, a very useful place to be able to call on these tools to help people when she's working with clients. I would like to ask about myself because I'm very interested in a Kundalini awakening. I read the book 2 years ago and I've just gone back to it again to read it again. But I'd like to just share some of the energy experiences with you that I've had that made me think I've maybe had my Kundalini journey has started a few years ago as I was going to sleep at night before my QHHT even, so it was more than 2 years ago. I woke within half an hour of sleeping with an amazing, pleasurable energy feeling running up and down my body. It could have lasted 15 minutes. It was really quite amazing. Coming from my root, maybe up as far as my throat, it's hard to quite say exactly, but it was so intense and pleasurable. Uh, Feeling of beauty, of love, of peace, but waves of energy and pleasure that came with it. And then 2 months later, I had the very same thing just after I fell asleep, but wasn't just quite as strong at that point. I can only think that would have been a Kundalini awakening, although I did think at that point it could have been a download or an upgrade, and I had just been feeling the upgrade at that point. So from what I've explained to you, can you tell me what I may have been getting that night? Would that have been the start of a Kundalini awakening?
It looks like some part of your soul had been calling in for a shift or change. It looks like many aspects of your light stimulated in like little electrical shoots all through the spine. So it's an awakening of sorts, yeah, or downloads or feels correct on all accounts that you were receiving something that needed to be activated at that point, and it created that reaction because anakotonia is stimulated through the vessel to awaken some aspect of of what you'd been calling in.
Yeah, but that makes sense. If I think about what's followed in the past few years since then, a lot of my life has changed in this direction with QHHT, and this all happened before I'd ever met Susan or any of the other QHHT people that I know now. So it almost was the start of something special. Uh, so, and that was before I'd even had the energy experiences that I had through QHHT. But I'd like to explain what happened last week. So I was doing a guided meditation with uh, over Zoom with a yoga nidra practitioner. And towards the end of the session, I got intense vibrations in my head while I had my eyes shut, and I'd kind of just drifted out of the meditation and then kind of became lucid again. And then when I became lucid, before I'd opened my eyes, I got almost violent vibrations in my head that kind of surprised me. It lasted for about 3 seconds. And I thought, oh, I need to drain this energy because it could have, I felt that if it went right through my body, it would have been uncontrollable. I didn't want my whole body to feel like it was kind of being electrocuted. So I just visualized roots coming down out my feet to disperse to earth the energy. Can you tell me what that might have been? It felt as if it came down through my crown into my head, but I didn't feel it in any other parts of my body. I'd felt something similar before when I've had out of body experiences, and it was like, but it's at that point it built up gently in my hands and then through my body. So I enjoyed the experience, but this time it came on me in my head, full, like almost at full volume of energy, and it was really quite a surprise. Can you tell me where that came from or what caused it?
So as much as Susan is the one assertively holding the channel, and you're also sitting in this energy each week, and this vibration that we bring forth through these meetings, and your is very high, and and then each week asking for upgrades and for shift, for change, and the old paradigms are breaking down, shifting, and meaning that you then go out and you're doing your practice and your oneness and your and then poof, you unlock and you're and so all of a sudden that wall has shifted. That wall is no longer there, and all that energy whoosh comes in and you're so very wise to ground down and allow it to move through and disperse as needed. But this is opening you in many, 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 many ways, and along with the work that you do intentionally for yourself, and it's helping all to very quickly clear out old residue and stimulate in the soul's wisdom, the soul's light, and to allow those bridging codes to come in and activate.
Okay, thank you for that answer. I would love to feel that happening again. I'm sure I will feel it. The next time I'll be ready for it. So even if it does start at my head, then I want to sort of allow it to build and hopefully feel it in my full body. As I said, I have felt it before, but it built up gently and allowed me to just enjoy the build up rather than being surprised at the sort of switch on of energy.
It's like the veins and the nervous system, and it's all trying to shift vibration, which may contribute to the intense vibration because it's becoming aware of where it wants to stay rather than falling back into an older space. But it looks like becoming crystalline. So everything channels and everything moves in the light. Everything is the light. The blood is pure light. Through the nervous system, it is pure light. And this is what it's transitioning into.
Thank you. That's lovely to hear. Before we came on the Zoom today, I used the chart that Susan had created, and it pointed me to. So the chart was a pendulum dowsing chart, uh, and it pointed me to uh, be aware of the energy, and it was electromagnetic field of Earth. Now, I did this when I was out in the back garden earthing, and I used the pendulum, and I got that result. But I get the very same result again when I come back indoors just to check that I was getting the result. Is there is there a relevance to my energy that I'm creating to the electromagnetic field of Earth, uh, as opposed to any of those other energies that may have been indicated on that chart? Can you tell us, have I got a link to that electromagnetic field of the Earth more than any of the others?
It is perhaps more a clue as to where some clearing needs to be directed under Kototuchia. So the electromagnetic field of the earth is cleansed under Kototuchia, sending through waves of light to cleanse that so that your connection when you're earthing and grounding your energy, that you are in that clean frequency. And the earth is also processing much energy constantly with the shifts it's going through. So it would be beneficial for all light workers to be helping to send out those thoughts of reharmonizing that electromagnetic field and to be the channel for that, to be stabilized, cleansed. And this will also help with match communication between those of the corrected vibration as well. Because it won't get lost in the noise that is sitting within the debris of that electromagnetic field that creates those distortions. So just sending light through and correcting and harmonizing that now, and helping to stabilize that with the fields of who you are. Through all the pathways, and cleansing those connections so that you feel like a heartbeat. The connection to be clean or potentially offbeat, and then you can send intentional healing, reset, harmonize, it's just an intention, just allowing yourself to be the channel of light that contributes to that, along with many others who can also do that.
Thank you. I was delighted to receive that message from the pendulum and the dowsing chart because it's very linked to what I visualize when I'm meditating in the mornings about clearing the energy of the earth. So it was it's a very big confirmation to what I'm doing. So it was great, and thank you for your wise words on that subject. Uh, do you feel any blockages in myself in regards to the Kundalini and my own? This will be the final message question on the Kundalini for today. But is there anything you sense in me that may be stopping the Kundalini at any point?
The solar plexus to heart, this connection, and your truly embodying self-belief, and your still feels like emotional debris that is holding that heavier than what it needs to be.
Okay. It's actually an area that I feel pulsing a lot when I'm meditating. That it could be that it needs more focus and work for me to clear out this chakra, the solar plexus.
We are here if you would like to ask for assistance.
Yes, please. Any assistance that you could give me now, and I will ask on a daily basis in my meditations as well. It'd be gratefully received. Thank you.
Looks like like a whirlpool, picking up the debris, cleansing, clearing as it moves, and the vortex point moving all around, the debris, removing it and cleansing it out. That energy there creates tension in the shoulders. So perhaps consider what you are carrying that you don't need to carry anymore. What you are perhaps doing that is not aligned to your greater vision for yourself. What is no longer a fit. It's time to push, let it go. Time to reassess and realign. And this will also help this and allow for that to shine brighter, lighter, and to fully embody the light that you are, the wisdom that you are, the truth that you are for humanity.
Thank you. Your words are very accurate and very wise because I'm in my daily human life, I probably am carrying too much of responsibility that others could help with, certainly. Uh, so I do need to dispense with more to allow me to have more time to focus on this type of work.
As you realign, then the universe can also assist you. Bring you more clients to support what you let go of. But a full container is difficult to fit more into.
Yeah, yes. Again, very, very accurate with those words. It's they resonate with me perfectly. Okay, I need to empty some of my vessel to allow some more light in and lighten the load, I think. So I have a question from Susan. There was only one. We hoped that most of today would be a discussion on the Kundalini, and it has been. It's been fascinating. Thank you very much. There's a few other things that we'd like to touch on. So Susan is asking for, oh, I'll just read her words actually. She says, please acclimate our mind, soul, and senses into a harmonious alignment for scrying in a way that allows us to receive messages and experiences that are ready to be explored.
But yeah, absolutely. Would you like to close your eyes and hold space as we bring forth this energy? And anyone in the future that connects to this may do the same.
Thank you.
Take some deep breaths, please. This is good. How do you feel?
I feel good, very good, thank you. I felt the very slightest vibration in my eyes as that was happening, as that was starting. Thank you very much. So there's actually there's one other big question, I suppose, that I have, and two other ones that are sort of hanging about from last week that we never asked. Uh, One was it was from a woman who listens to the Waking Class podcasts, and she may well listen to this eventually. It was Steph. We asked a few questions for her last week. Uh, Cam suggested we didn't ask this on the podcast because it was quite a personal question. But I'll ask it now in the hope that there's a suitable answer. Steph says that her 9-year-old daughter is now saying to her that the blue one comes and talks to her. Now, I know you don't know who Steph is, but is there any way you could tell us any guidance that who the blue one may be coming and speaking to Steph's daughter?
This is just supporting her journey and family and her mission and why she is here, the daughter awareness, growth, so who she is not shut down, her greater mission, her vision, her awareness is key for future of where things that will unlock in the future, a voice that is clear and true, not chaotic. It is just supporting. We are hearing AV and
Okay, thank you. That's amazing information. We'll pass this on to Steph. So it's very positive for the daughter. And would you suggest that the daughter then just encourages the communication to flow?
It feels to be assisting with and opening the mind to concepts of the new earth and to help hold codes and as the daughter has these codes, as you're aware, this will ripple into those around us. So the school system, it's these seeds and something that the mother feels to be calling in also for help with this greater system. So it feels like all are working together, but they're different parts of the same field of energy.
Okay.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, that's a wonderful answer. Thank you very much. We'll pass that on to Steph. Thank you very much. There's one question that I didn't quite ask, I don't think, last week when I was speaking about dreams and where we go in our dreams, and you gave such wonderful answers last week. And again, this is a very human question that is me trying to put things into boxes, and but it's hanging about, so I'll ask it anyways. So I was discussing that as our consciousness sort of goes out when we're dreaming and sleeping and may go into different dimensions and go up or go up densities or go up dimensions to meet different beings who live in those places, in those dimensions. And you spoke about as we go, our consciousness goes, so we're meeting them in spirit, I guess, or meeting their essence. But my question is, at what point does physicality stop? So if we're in the third or fourth dimension at the moment, and then we went up another one, that'd be fifth, and I believe there's still physicality in the fifth dimension. Again, this is a very human question, but where does it stop? Does it stop at sixth or seventh, or is it above that? Could you still meet physical beings who come from the eighth dimension, or by that point would they just be spirit, or would it just be their essence you would be meeting?
It feels to be 12th dimension, purely spirit, below that, more choice and some phase in and out of physicality, until you come into those that are fully embodied in physicality. So there does seem to be a choice that
right, okay.
can make as you more an expanded consciousness and understand the power of the mind and the limitlessness of that energy of thought and how to harness that to be one thing or another thing or another thing. And this is what the higher dimensions can embody more so than what the human field does at this point.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a great answer for me to get, and it, and explains a lot. The fact that in the lower dimensions there's a choice whether there's physicality or the existing spirit, and they can come and go in either. So thanks very much. There is no more questions on that. But what you spoke about there about the human mind being limitless takes me on to my final. I suppose there'll be a question at the end of this, but the observation of I'm here every week meeting you, sometimes twice a week, and Susan's always been very forthright about saying we need upgrades and we want to ask for this and we want to ask for that, where I've just been happy to meet you and have questions answered. It was like almost the knowledge is enough for me. But with the discussion we've had on Kundalini today, and I, I believe that that would be an important development for me if I was to have a Kundalini awakening. So what could you do to help me take the next step on the Kundalini path? Are you able to tell me where I am at the moment and then help with the next stage of that? Whether that would be unblocking the chakra. I know you worked on my solar plexus earlier. Would there be anything else that you could help me with?
The interconnectedness of the chakras, connecting with the expanded perception, so the mind can perceptualize in different ways. And the awakened mind then, and knows different questions to ask, different intentions to set. And this is a great asset in one's ascension to even just know the words and the questions to ask, know what to ask for, and so we can assist to bring this in and help you embody that in a greater form. Will also assist with resorting the load that we spoke about, so you can trust that, letting go of that, and you know that you know it's not like you hope, you know, because you feel it, you know it because you feel it, because you are you're interconnected, and that the chakras and the information it's moving through every part of your essence, and connecting with the brainwaves and the mind to be able to form, to flow. It's like it's like alchemy in motion. Constantly something more.
Thank you. Any help is gratefully received.
And it's also important to remember to find your still point. When there is so much coming in, you can be aware of so many things, because as the mind is expanding, it can feel very exciting and you want to do this and this and this and this and this and this. But don't get lost in it. keep you focused. Just write everything down, because this will come. And what's awakening is going to start filling in the pieces of all those other thoughts that you're having, and that will come forth to be present when and as it's ready. So many exciting things coming online. The mind is awakening. It's like it's like it's like coming out of stasis. So everything is starting to wire and fire in different ways, to feel different, to move differently, to explore differently within its own self. The inner consciousness trying to remember as these things are coming online. So making lots of notes as these thoughts are coming to you, but you don't have to do all of them. Remember to keep your focus on and this is where your power is to really embody, because as you're focusing on one thing, this is going to allow the thoughts and questions to evolve into that. So if you're focused on Kundalini and all these other things are coming in, don't be distracted, write them down. I'll come back to you. Keep focusing on, I'm activating. I am my own truth. I am activating. I am going to continue to align and come all 100% limitless. This is my truth. This is the only truth. What's next?
Thank you very much for those words and advice, and for all the work that you've done for myself and Susan today.